Alright guys, quick disclaimer. This video is just for fun and entertainment. Don't try this yourself. There's a real risk of breaking things, even your engine. I'm not responsible for any damage if you decide to mess around with your own car. Do you know this sound? Yeah, so you're probably driving a stock MX-5. In the MX-5 2-liter ND model, there is actually a sound tube coming out of the engine bay, which is connected to the intake hose, coming into the cabin with the purpose of feeding you that nice intake sound. The idea behind it is beautiful. We like the induction noise of the cars, but my idea of induction noise is more of that air sucking noise and not that screaming, tortured noise which you get in the cabin. And come on, it's a 4-cylinders, and we're gonna try the sound tube delete. We want that more bassy, sporty sound from the exhaust and a little bit less of that cabin engine noise sound from the front. We're gonna try it today, and I have a cheap solution for you.
So you cannot just remove the sound tube because you're left with a hole. There's two problems. First, you can suck in some debris, unfiltered air into the engine bay, which is not good. And secondly, as you can see, there is a tube going under the valve cover, and the computer of the engine detects that there is something going on. There's a part missing. There's a certain air pressure or vacuum in here. The engine is basically throwing a check engine light. So we want to close this hole. There's a couple of solutions for that.
There is a lot of solutions for this on the internet. There is manufacturers offering parts for this sound tube delete the right way so that we don't get this check engine light. There is CNC machine parts, and there is this one which is actually OEM, and there's also models for 3D printer. The problem with those is they're like warping. You have to consider that this is the engine bay, so there's a lot of heat. I was thinking about a different solution, and that's what I come up with. So this is the guy. So this basically is something which you use for chairs with metal legs. Put it inside of the metal tube of a chair. We're gonna put it in the place of the removed sound tube so that we don't get check engine light. Now hold up, I know that sounds crazy. Plastic what you want to put into a sports car, well, this is just an in-between solution for people. They want to try it out, hear if it makes actually any difference, they like the sound before more or not, and then you can decide 3D print or order a proper part, and I'm gonna show you how to do it.
So first we're gonna need some pliers. This thing to measure hose, our beautiful piece to close the hole, some isolation tape. I have white here. You should probably take, for a cleaner look, something which is black. There's the actual sound tube. As you can see, it goes from here to here, and there it goes into the engine bay. So that's the guy what you have to remove. So we take the pliers and remove this part and just remove the hose. Okay, there we go. And this part, be sure not to lose it. It stays here. Okay, then we left just with the hose. Okay, so I lost. Oh no. Okay, the scissors. So they're gonna be there forever probably. Okay, so the next step is to measure the actual tube so that you can choose this one properly. I already done my measurements, and I know that I needed a 34 millimeter one. You take this guy, you measure it from the outside like this, 33, just to be sure that it's not going anywhere and it's not gonna be sucked into the engine. I would recommend you to just to take a little bit bigger one than you measured here, and then measure the inside also. Next step is to install our thing. I had to cut it a little bit to shape shape it a little bit so it goes in easily. You don't want to be forcing it too much into this. This is plastic, so we don't want to break this. So it has to just close the hole, and we're gonna be wrapping it up with some isolation tape so that no air comes into there, and secure this one. Double, make sure it's not going anywhere, and I lost my scissors, so I have to just rip it off.
After you install this, I would recommend you to leave the sound tube as it is. Don't take it out of the engine bay. Make your car first warm up without driving it or driving it too hard. Check it out if the material withholds the high temperatures from the engine bay. So if it's not burning, if it's not deforming, if it's not warping. You have to imagine that if you accelerate, the engine sucks in air. Of course, it does it through air filter, but we don't want this part to be sucked in in your engine bay, so it should be under high temperatures and not be warping and melting. First, warm your car up without driving it. Check it out if it's still in shape, and drive it a little bit more and check it out if it's melting and so on. Then if you're sure that it withholds the temperatures, you can go to the next step and remove the actual sound tube and enjoy your quieter cabin.
So now we're gonna remove the remaining parts, and I hope I won't lose my tools anymore. Okay, this is a 10. Okay, so this should just come off. There's a rubber thingy here. Yes, you just pull and then pull it out of the cabin. Okay, I will remove first this one. First hose, and then try. Okay, so you just pull it to the side. To one side, there's actually like a clip. So you just wiggle it out to one side. Yes. And it's out. Okay. So that's that. Now you're actually left with a hole. We have to close this hole so that no sound is coming in. So we're gonna close this hole with double-sided tape. Anything which will close off this hole and stop from sound coming in it. That was that. There we have the whole hose. Weight reduction.
So that was that. Actually pretty simple. There's a lot of videos comparing decibels, if it brings something. I don't know if it's placebo or not. I prefer it that way. Quieter cabin. When I take the roof off, hear more of that exhaust sound than from the front. I hope you liked it, that it works for you. You saved a little bit of money. Tell me in your comments and what parts did you use and so on. Thanks for watching and see you next time.